Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Dunkus, and welcome to episode number 11 of The World's Weapons. Now, this episode I'm choosing to cover the M60, the US-made machine gun, and as usual, my class will be popping out on the screen. I'm doing things a little bit different this time. I'm not using my standard World's Weapons class. I've got the Scavenger Pro, of course, Sleight of Hand Pro, and then Marathon, because I figured, hey, I'm running a little bit slower with this light machine gun in the game, so I might as well give myself a little bit more run time to kind of make up for that. And then I got the red dot sight. I actually tried to use the grip on this, but it would not work out for me. I don't know why. It just wouldn't work. And that's my only attachment, is the red dot, and my kill streaks are spy plane, counter spy plane, and blackbird. Now, this episode will most likely be the last one formatted like this, where I just get one gameplay and talk over it about the gun that I'm using. I'm thinking about switching over to capturing different clips and different angles in theater mode, using stuff like that to kind of really illustrate the gun and how it works in game and compare that to the real life weapon. So I feel like you guys would like that a little bit better. Let me know in the comments below if you want me to continue with single games or spice things up a little bit, make a multiple game kind of mini-tage type thing, and talk about the weapon that way. But that's enough about all that nonsense. Let's get right into the United States machine gun caliber 7.62mm M60. As the name would suggest, it fires a 7.62 by 51mm NATO cartridge from a disintegrating belt, which is either 100 or 200 rounds. And the M60, or the Pig as it was referred to in Vietnam War, was kind of brought into service in 1957, so it's been around the block. It's still used today. Although the M240 has started to replace it and supplement it in U.S. service, it is in use around the world. The M60 still is in use around the world, and it's still a testament to great design by the United States. And just a couple little facts before we get going here with a little bit of the history. The weight of this weapon is actually kind of surprised me. It's only 23.15 pounds. I'm not sure if that's empty or if that's full of ammo. So, because like I said before, it has a 100 or 200 round belt. Now that's 10.5 kilograms for those of you, for you guys that enjoy the metric system. The length is 105 centimeters or 43.5 inches. Now the barrel length is 22 inches. So if you remember back on my Commando episode, I mentioned that the M16 rifle, the barrel is 20 inches and the gun is 40 inches. So this is comparable in size to an M16 rifle, which is very, very surprising to me when I was doing my research on this. So the actual birth of the M60 can be credited to the U.S. Paying a great deal of attention to German machine guns in World War II. Now, the MG42 specifically comes to mind, and they actually tried to convert that to a U.S. rifle caliber using the 30-06 cartridges, which obviously would not work because the 30-06 is about 6 millimeters longer than the German 7.92mm Mauser cartridge, which was actually used in the MG42. So that was a failed attempt right off the bat, but the U.S. really was determined to kind of get their light machine gun game on point, so to say, and kind of take examples from around the world, say the MG42, the FG42 from Germany as well, and kind of combine all their features into one great gun. Now, right off the bat, it went through a bunch of revisions, as most weapons do when they're first starting out, and it finally got adopted in 1957, as I said in the beginning, as the machine gun 7.62mm M60. Now, when the M60 was brought over to Vietnam as the light support weapon of choice, or SAW squad automatic weapon, it was basically a portable source of automatic firepower for infantry squads or sections. Now, every soldier in the rifle squad would carry an additional 200 rounds of ammunition or a spare barrel or both. Now, the rifle squads were set up similarly to the MG42 squads that we talked about in my MG42 video. If you haven't seen that, please go ahead and look at that. That's a very interesting weapon as well, and it shares a lot of the same characteristics as the M60. As I said before, the M60 was kind of modeled after looking at the MG42 and in awe, basically. But although the M60 was fairly effective at doing its job over in Vietnam, it was not free of problems and complaints by soldiers. Number one problem was the unreliability and the proneness to jamming and other malfunctions. If you get any fine sand or dust or anything like that from the Vietnam jungles into the M60 mechanism, it would just bring it to a halt. Now, that's a major factor in why the Israeli Defense Force declined to adopt the M60. Now, the M60 was more difficult to actually clean and maintain than the rifle that it replaced, which was the M1918A2 Browning automatic rifle. Now, under normal conditions, in the test labs, in the factories, and shooting ranges and everything of the like, the M60 would fire thousands upon thousands of rounds without a serious jam, and then you bring it over to Vietnam in the field conditions, the dirty water, the sand, the dirt, dust environment, it would have a tendency to reduce reliability without basically taking perfect care of it. Now, in addition to the dust and dirt problem that it had, jamming up problem, it could get jammed up by its empty cases that it's trying to eject from the weapon itself. The M60 sometimes actually tore the rims off of the cartridge cases during the extraction cycle, and in turn that would cause a jam, and it would take a long time to clear. So obviously that's the last thing you want when you're in the middle of a firefight in the Vietnam jungle, shooting up at Charlies in the trees. You don't want your M60 to get jammed by its own spent cartridges. I mean, that's pretty embarrassing. Dirt and dust is fine, that's a normal condition, but to not eject the cartridges properly is pretty embarrassing. Now, some U.S. Marines actually dislike the M60 so much that they decided to hold on to their Browning automatic rifles, or BARs, which was the predecessor to the M60, for as long as possible. Now, I don't blame them. If I had something that I really was comfortable with and really worked well, a weapon that really worked well with me, I would definitely want to hang on to that instead of moving forward to a